10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Drag racing fan, feel the power hour here on CompetitionPlus.com, which is the place for all your drag racing news. Check it out at CompetitionPlus.com. So, yours truly, the Monday Morning Race, we're going to be yakking it up on drag racing. Later on, we'll be talking with Paul Lee of NHRA Funny Car and Larry Dixon Jr. as well towards the end of the show. I'm not the only host, though. Let me also bring in my highly esteemed co-host, Slammin. Slam. How's it going, Sam?
What's going on, man? Happy New Year. Hey, everybody. Housekeeping. Let's get to it. First. If you haven't done it already, please check out Lee and I, both on our personals. That is a Monday Morning Racer. Me, Slammin Sam, Mapro Motorsports, and Outlaw Performance ENT. And also check out the podcast. It is on all your major podcast forums. So, yeah, Lee, what's going on? I mean, first one of 2021. So what's going on, man? What do you got for me?
Hey, first show of 2021. It's great to be in the new year. Looking forward to testing, possibly somewhere in the Southeast. Looking forward to the Gator Nationals coming up to kick off the NHRA 2021 season. Look, man, usually during the offseason, you hear big announcements about someone picking up a sponsor, someone picking up a new crew chief, someone making new deals. Well, we haven't heard much of that this year. It's tough finding sponsors out there. As I was talking with Doug Foley a couple of days ago, he's like, no one's making big announcements right now. They're not pinning or inking the deals. But I will say there has been a team doing some shaking and some moving, and they're bringing a brand new name into the sport. So Justin Ashley Racing, Davis Motorsports, they bring in Rise Brewing Company. That's announced today. And this company makes, of all things, oat milk. And they also have Nitro Brew coffees that they sell. They're going to be putting their coffees and their oat milk apparently into Menards and Kroger's, things of that nature. But a consumer brand going on to a top fuel dragster, I think that is good news and good work from the Justin Ashley camp. So I've got to ask, man, what consumer goods, what consumer products do you think will fit in drag racing? And folks, you as well out there in the chat, let us know, who do you think ought to be in drag racing?
So, first of all, I think we need to get a glasses company, because I really like what you're doing here with the glasses. So I'm going to start rocking the glasses just because it's a cool thing, right? People are going to hate on it, but for 2021, I think we're going to rock the glasses. So, but no, I think I would like to see like your Little Debbies back into it. I've said it before. We've talked about it. Cereal companies. I would like to see, the Captain Crunch car again. I would like to see my personal favorite, a Cinnamon Toast Crunch car. In-N-Out, get the food things back into it. Jolly Rancher, for example. So I would like to see different things like that. Maybe a couple of sneaker companies, you never know, or tennis shoes, depending on what part of the world you live in, how you talk about that. So maybe, Nike may want to come in, Adidas or Adidas, to say it properly. We see those kind of companies marketing towards, your stock cars and your Formula One cars and different things like that. So it would be nice to see some people venture out. Again, Lee, I'm going to talk about someone who I think really promotes themselves in drag racing is Alex Laughlin. He gets a lot of flack for different things that he does around, motorsports and in the industry of promoting himself. And in that market, there's a lot of different things that he tried. For example, the having your name, you could pay to have your name on a car. I think that was one of the coolest things, and you were a part of that. I think that's cool. Dale says Tylenol. I think that's huge. Tylenol and alcohol. Snickers, I agree with that. One of my favorite candies, one of my favorite candy bars. So I can agree with that. But Tylenol, I think that one would be huge, especially for drag racing, as, drag racers do like to have a little bit of fun. It's a fun atmosphere. So I think that one's good. A couple of soap companies I could think of, Dr. Squatch, or Squash, however. I think that would be a good one too. Walmart, no, hard pass. Sorry, Mike. I don't know what that one was there, but I could go without seeing that one. M&M's is another one that someone is saying. So there's a lot of different things in the comments that people are saying. What about you, Lee? Is there any ones that stick out to you? I think you would probably like Little Debbie's car.
No, not a Little Debbie's car. That's been in NASCAR. Ken Schrader was running around in a Little Debbie's car for a while. Elliott Sadler, if I remember correctly, as well. Some chiming into the comments section, they are mentioning, M&M's. They are mentioning Hershey's Chocolate Company. And it is interesting that groups like Mars and Hershey's Chocolate, they look at the world of NASCAR and other forms of motorsports, and they see that as a viable option to put their brand on with. Though, if you ask me, when it comes to exposure, bang for the buck, access to fans, the actual consumer, it's drag racing that is the better viable option. For example, on a stock car, a NASCAR, yes, I know there's nothing stock about a stock car. The fact is, you have those huge number placements, and then the rest of the room is for the sponsor. I mean, when you sponsor a Top Fuel dragster, you can have the whole car. And as many of them are chiming in now, look, folks, we're not talking about the past. We've got to ask why right now and for the future are not consumer brands getting into the sport? Why do we not see? For example, let me give you a good one. This is a good one, I think. McDonald's. McDonald's continued its relationship in NASCAR almost without skipping a beat, from the days of Jimmy Spencer through Bill Elliott on to other drivers such as Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, even Matt Kenseth. Okay, they also have sponsorship in IndyCar. Why have we not seen them continue in the world of drag racing when they were there with the likes of Cruz Petragon and Corey McClinton, Jim Yates? What is it about drag racing that is the hiccup? So I think one element that's got to go away and that sanctioning bodies have got to be careful about is the official sponsor or the official whatever from the sanctioning body platform, because oftentimes those sponsorships come with the clauses that kick out other opportunities and companies from coming into the sport. So to name at least one product that I think would fit, I think, as someone else has mentioned, like Bass Pro Shops, Tracker Boats, I think that fits into the world of drag racing. Look, bass boats are pretty extreme on the water. Why not connect them with the most extreme racing vehicles out there?
Who knows? I mean, I agree with you there. Bass, boats. I mean, you have to look at it. Most people that are going drag racing don't just have a need for speed when it comes to the track. They want to get to the fishing spot the fastest. They want to get there, and we all like nice things. It's just like Camping World fits in with what we're doing. But this brings me to another point of, and kind of on topic of what we're talking about here, is I think now with everything that's happened in 2020 and a lot of people now doing a lot more self-promoting, it's going to open up the doors to different things. And so my question here to you, Lee, about this topic is, do you believe that people and racers doing a lot of the self-promoting, like the Caruso family, like Clay Millican, having their own shows, going out and being themselves, Justin Swanson and different people like that are going out, making YouTube channels and talking more and putting themselves out there? Will that open the door for more sponsorship opportunities?
I think it definitely will open the door for more sponsorship opportunities. I think, depending on the personality of the individual, whoever they are, work the angle how best ever you can. Clay Milken, a very personable guy, work that. You've got someone like Alex Laughlin, as you mentioned. He doesn't put out a lot of videos, but when he does, they're rather heartfelt, informative, or they're just flat out goofy. That's great. You've got someone like Stevie Fast Jackson. His videos he's using to inform people about the class, or he's even calling people out coming up to a season or before a race. So, yes, I think drivers, teams, they've got to utilize their platform to push whatever products and brands they've got associated with them. But also doing that will invite other people. Show people a little bit of a glimpse into your life, a glimpse into your race weekend, and show that racers were human beings. Race fans were human beings. We leave the track and we consume just as much as anybody else. Frankly, as well as I know that race fans party, maybe we're consuming more over a weekend than anybody else. So, yeah, Party City needs to get involved and supply all the party utensil needs for race fans on race day, along with Camping World, providing all the camping needs that we have. And that goes to show you, look, Camping World was a great fit. Why? Because especially at a drag race, there is so much camping going on. Just take a look at that overhead picture of a, thinned out U.S. Nationals that still had like 900 cars in a 2020 pandemic year. Yeah, camping fit for sure.
In the comments there, we have Destroyer 1320. Thanks, man. I'm just trying to bring in the new year, new style, new me, right? You got to look good, feel good. To what you're saying there, Lee, I have a picture from the Door Slammer race, the inaugural Door Slammer race down there in Orlando, Florida, that Drag Illustrated put on. I took a drone picture of just down the pit, and I made the comment that this is how God intended drag racing to look. And it's nothing but stackers and motorhomes, and everyone is just enjoying themselves. So Camping World, I mean, that fit in like swimwear, man. It was just, it was a glove fit. It fit perfect. Joe, what you're talking about with Megan Myers, what she did is phenomenal. And then I'm going to go even a step further with Megan. She got Dots Pretzels, which is a small local pretzel company that's located here in Belva, North Dakota, right down the street from where I live here in Minot, North Dakota's little bitty town. But she took Dots Pretzels, and Dots Pretzels are in Menards, so Menards joined forces with them, and they advertised the crap out of those pretzels. Now Dots is all over the world. She's got a place here, she's got a place in Arizona, and a place in Missouri. So it just shows what can happen if we open the doors to people that like this stuff. We're going to the races. We need somewhere to stay. I'd rather stay at the track than drive to a hotel room and then try to come back the next day. So there's a lot that we can do. Now back to self-promoting and social media. Don't be scared to do it. We're doing it, Lee and I. That's what Competition Plus is. We have to grow this sport and continue to preach to the masses of what is going on, what we're doing to make this sport better, and what we are doing to grow the sport. And until we can say, hey, we've done this enough where people are continually knocking on our door, I think we have to keep doing it. I'm in North Dakota. If you're in Florida, you should be saying the same message that I'm saying. If you're in California like I just was, you should be saying the same message. We're all preaching the same music. And until we all come together and can beat the same drum, and everyone wants a piece of the puzzle of drag racing, then we can stop. But I think even then we don't stop. Keep knocking the doors down and keep telling the gospel that drag racing is the American sport. That's all I got to say. Sorry, my sermon's over.
There you go, sir. Hey, preach on, brother. Preach on. Look, Rob mentions something in the comments. He says this. It doesn't help potential sponsors when there is still rubbish like Street Outlaws and people like JJ DeBoss getting exposure on TV promoting street drag racing. Much looks staged. So, all right, I'll give you a break. Say what you got to say, Sam, but I've got a point to that.
I'm going to take off the glasses for this one. I agree with you when you say the rubbish, but Street Outlaws has grown drag racing and has put more people back at the track to want to see cars, to want to get involved in the sport. Yes, there is a negative connotation about it. Yes, there is a negative side to that because it says street racing. But you have to remember how many people that show gets locked in every week to see it. If you don't agree with the show, that's fine. There's a lot of racers that don't. But look at what it's done for Stevie Fast Jackson racing on both sides. Look at what it's done to bring a lot of racers in. You're going to start seeing more street racers back at the track simply because it gives them an opportunity to show their skills. Look at how many more big money races have come up about it. So we cannot knock what Discovery Channel and Street Outlaws is doing. It has brought more people to the sport. Yes, I get it. It has promoted more street racing, but look at how many more tracks could have shut down or aren't shut down now because people are going there to grudge race. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Right, a lot of tracks are using the shutdown and going backwards, and I think that's good drag racing. Nothing wrong with that, and it's off the street, though it's a no-prep style, big money events. I enjoy them. Nonetheless, I have to agree. I don't like what seems might be staged and mocked. To Rob's point, though, you have sponsors out there. Where do we put our money? Folks, you are the consumer. Remember this. With today, there is a power unlike any before in social media. If you go out and you purchase something, tag that sponsor and say, hey, I'm buying this because I saw your name on a drag car. Hey, I'm buying this because I saw your name on whoever's funny car. Hey, I'm buying this because I saw your product on whoever's pro stock car. Use the power you have as a consumer and show the world that produces consumer goods that, yes, they have a direct impact on sales to you, the consumer, by sponsoring. Let me give you an example. I'd never tried sparkling ice, whatever it is, the sponsors for Leah Pruitt that have been on the car. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. Let me try it. I've never tried. Maybe this is good. I don't know. You know what? They're pretty good. And I purchased it, took a picture, and I tagged Leah. I tagged the company so they know, hey, I'm a drag racing fan. I tried this because this name was on her car, and I appreciate you sponsor drag racing. I think as fans, and I'm looking at you out there, fans, let me tell you, for all the moaning and the groaning and the complaining that you do this proactive thing. Go buy something that is on a drag car, go take a picture, go tag their social media, say thank you for being in the sport. Do it. That will definitely help what's happening in the sport concerning its health and the racers having funds to go racing. Well, look, let's talk to a racer right now there, Slammin' Sam, and bring in our pit insider, Jeff Arend, right after this break on consumer goods that look good, threads from Competition Plus Apparel.
Get your CompetitionPlus.com apparel today. Whether it's our nitro-burning funny car design or the vibrant door slammer design, we have the swag to show you are always in the know. Get yourself a hat too. And we know not everyone enjoys wearing a mask, but if you must wear one, at least wear a good-looking one. Check out the new CompetitionPlusApparel.com for the latest from the place where you have trusted for your news on the internet for over 2 decades.
Jeff Arend, good to have you again tonight, our pit insider. So, Jeff, what juicy info do you have for us tonight?
Kind of had a good inside information there on Bobby Bodie Jr. Going to race 10 races this year. But our boss kind of, Bobby Bennett, he stole that one from me. But that's pretty cool to see Bobby Bodie Jr. coming out next year. 10 races, it's going to be good for him. I'm sure he's going to learn more and more all the time. And he's done well in the car. I'm pretty impressed with how he's driven it. It certainly hasn't been slow. I mean, the car's been putting down some great numbers, good enough to be a top 5 car. He hasn't made it to the finish line, I don't think, under power yet. But I asked him about that. I go, you just had enough like by now? And he goes, yeah, 600-700 feet's pretty fast. And that's about enough. And I appreciate someone like that tells you that than a guy that wants to go to the finish line and maybe not be in control of the car like he should be.
Got to have control there.
Yeah, the licensing process is pretty hard, when you look at what's going on. And there's a lot of guys out there that have tried to get licensed. It just takes them a really, really long time. It's a tough deal to hop a nitro funny car or a nitro top fuel car and just go out there and make your runs to get a license. Doesn't sound like very much. The requirement's not very fast. I mean, it's like 470 at 230 miles an hour in a funny car. And I think it's like 450 at 250 in a top fuel car, which is certainly not spectacular. But, you have to look into some of the things like it's tougher to drive at a track, that doesn't get used all the time. If you try and license at a national event, like on the Monday after the national event, the track's prepped good, the people are there, but not everybody can do that. And I would say that I helped Brandon Welch a little bit, which is Chuck Beal's grandson. And I'm not lying. I think it took them 10 years to get licensed. Now, they didn't go out like 5 times a year to try and do it, but it's just a really tough deal to get done. And, Bobby Bodie Jr., he hadn't driven a whole bunch. He came through Holly's school, did the Super Comp class, and I think he did the Nostalgia Funny Car class maybe 2 or 3 times just to get comfortable in the car, because when you're making runs, let's face it, it's better to goof up on a $1,200 run than like a $5,000 run or more. So, and then you have to have the car being right on top of that. It took him a little longer than I thought they did, but he did really well. But, going back to the licensing, I work with Frank Hawley, obviously. I work with Del Worsham, and, Del does top fuel and funny car licensing. And that's a pretty tough deal to do. But with Del's deal, he's got some pro guys that work on the car. So the guys from Alexis's team, they're working on the car. They can turn the thing around 3, 4 times, 5 times in a day, like no problem. And it's done right. And the car's set up right. So while it might be a little bit expensive to go through Del's school, I guarantee if you talk to Bob Bodie or some of the other people and said, how much did you spend to get licensed? It's way more than what Del charged. And you can look back to Jim Campbell. There's another guy that's been racing a funny car for a few years now. He came through Frank's school, did Super Comp, did the Nostalgia Funny Car class a couple of times, and he came over to Del's deal, and we got him licensed in 1 day in Bakersfield. I mean, that does not happen very often, and he did great. I mean, he got licensed in 1 day, and it was like 100 and some odd degrees outside. And, if people are looking to get licensed and you're looking for sponsorship, it's pretty tough to get a sponsor if you don't have a license. And if you don't have a license, there's other guys that may do it. But, I'd say if you want to get licensed, Frank Hawley, if you want to do the gas deal, the alcohol deal is the guy to go to. And by far, Del is the right guy to go to for top fuel or funny car, because he has all the equipment, all the people, all the expertise. The guy's like a 2-time champion in both classes, which has barely ever been done. And that's what you got to do.
So, Jeff, if you had to send Lee anywhere to go and get a license, who would you trust with having enough patience to teach Lee how to drive one of those cars?
by far, Frank, for sure, because some people will say Frank's a little tough on the guys, when you're trying to get licensed. But do you want to race against a guy that had his buddies sign his license over a couple of beers after the day was done? Not really. No matter what car you're driving, they're all fast and you can get into trouble. And, Frank's got a really good reputation out there. If Frank signs your license, you know how to drive. You know where you're at on the track. You know where to shut it off on time. You know to get the street set on time. And even if you ran faster in another car but didn't do all that stuff, you met the performance requirements, but you didn't really meet the driving requirements. And that's something you're going to get through a Frank Hawley or through a Del Worsham.
So, Jeff, look, before we let you go, and since you've been around long enough, I think you're qualified to answer this question. What did they do when IHRA and NHRA had the pro categories going on at the same time? Would they both acknowledge the licenses either way, or did you have to have a card-carrying member and licensee of both organizations? How did that work?
That's a good question. So if you had a NHRA license, you were good to race an NHRA or IHRA. If you had an IHRA license, you needed to get an NHRA license. And I'm not saying that was right or wrong, but I think the NHRA license probably it was maybe a little tougher to get. You had to have some different qualified people to sign off your license, because I don't know if people know this or not, but when you go to get licensed in any kind of a car, you need to get the track manager and 2 people to sign off on your license. And when you get up into the higher categories, like an alcohol car or pro mod car, or a nitro car, it's tough to get the drivers up there to watch you, but the drivers know that they'll be racing against you at one time or another. So they're going to really watch what you're doing. Like if you drove the car all over the place and almost hit the center line, and almost hit the wall, even if you met the performance requirement for the license, I don't think you should get signed off on it. You should know where you are. You should shut it off on time. You should stage it properly, and you should go down the track pretty straight. So that's an important part of the whole deal. It's gotten a little different maybe over the last few years and stuff, but it seems to be getting better now.
All right, there we go, Jeff. Look, man, thank you again for your time and that juicy pit insider information with a bit of history tonight. Thank you, man.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Look, it's good to have Jeff along, isn't it, man?
He's a walking encyclopedia of drag racing information, and who doesn't like that?
We definitely like it here at the Power Hour. He brings that power from the pits and gives us that information. Hey, he's a funny car driver. We got a funny car driver in Paul Lee coming on in just a few moments. Let's talk a little bit about funny car, man. So, as Jeff mentioned, Competition Plus came out with an article earlier today that Bobby Bodie, he's going to be stepping in the car next year for about 10 races. You've got the Densham boy out there racing. There's rumors of Stevie Fast Jackson coming in possibly to nitromethane funny car racing at some point. He's already been, swapping feet in the alcohol funny car. Let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you this. A world without John Force in a funny car, what does it look like possibly with some of the new names coming into funny car?
New name? Why? Okay. First things first, don't take yourself off the screen. Why do you say new names? I know you, but why do you say new names?
Because new names, they allow for far more speculation. Now, sure, there's established names that when John Force steps out, that they're going to feel that place. Robert Height, you've got Matt Hagan, already what he's doing. But I don't know. It's interesting that right now, Pro Stock's got a lot of new names coming in, but there's new names just out there on the edge, maybe not with the best performance, but possible future stars of the sport, even in funny car. And I don't think they're quite getting enough love, man.
I agree with you. Yes, they may not be getting enough love, but how do I say this politically correct? We have to look at what they're going to be doing in the next couple of months, in the next couple of weeks. That's going to determine a lot. Now, granted, I think there are a couple of people that can step into this role, into this class, pro stock, pro mod, and funny cars. I think they can step in and say, you know what, hey, we're going to give it a run for our money. We're going to shake it up, and may find sponsorships to run a complete season. But if I'm going off of what I truly know and what I'm familiar with, like you said, your Matt Hagens, coming off of a great year, losing a couple of members from his team, and the only reason why I know that is because I'm friends with the guy that's on that team. So there may be a little shakeup there unless they have someone else that, steps into that role and is very prepared to do that. But I'm just not 100% or even 25% saying, hey, a newcomer is the way to go.
May not
doesn't
be.
Answer.
No, really that's fine, man. You're dodging the question. No slammy for you tonight. I know that much. Now, I definitely think of of the newcomers, obviously, if there was the newcomer in Stevie Fast Jackson, that would make the headlines. That would steal the show. But go ahead.
That's why we have to wait. We have to wait at least another month. That's why I'm dodging this question. And Jacob's saying it, Stevie Fast right there. Boom. Yes. But are we we're not for sure. Are you for sure?
No, we're not for sure. We are not for sure.
Until Stevie says, hey, guess what, guys? Surprise, I'm doing it. Then I'm a believer. It's just like Shrek. Then I'm a believer. But until then, I don't know. Now, okay, Mark, I mentioned that, but I wasn't going to say his name because we talked about him last time. Lyle, he's already out testing. I'm a believer because of what he's done in his past. I can honestly say I trust the man behind the wheel of that car. He's 29. He's 29 still. So, he's my age. He's our age, I should say. And I trust him. I think he's going to do great things. He has great mentorship and examples, in the racing community that he's in. So, yes. And I'm going to piggyback on this. That's another guy who used to be one of those, street outlaw guys, before his car caught on fire. He was a grudge racer. That was my point right there, with saying you are going to see X, Y, and Z. So if Stevie Fast comes out, thank you, Scott. He is 30. See, shout out to us 30-year-olds. We're doing great things. But if he comes out and says, hey, guess what? I'm going to drive my Pro Mod and I'm going to drive a funny car. Well, you sign me up. I want to see it. But I'm going to dodge that question until we know which way he's going.
All right, we get to the Gator Nationals. We're going to look at that entry list, and I want an answer on who you think a rookie standout or at least young driver in funny car might be. Now, when I say young, let me also throw this out there, because there is another rookie, Chad Green. Don't forget about him. He's got a funny car now. He can go funny car racing. Maybe he switches over from Pro Mod and does that as well. Maybe he makes some marks into the class.
I don't think he does it this year. Just because he has the car and he has the sources to do it, I don't think, and even if he does do it, I think he makes one or two passes, at sanctioned races. I do not think he commits to that even for a part-way schedule. And the only reason why I say that is just because you buy it, yes, you want to hop in it. But it doesn't mean that you are ready to whack that loud pedal competitively. That's all I'm saying there. So there's a lot of potential with people saying, yes, I have cars. Yes, I have the resources to drive them. Just like Stevie Fast Jackson. We keep mentioning this, but I don't think it'll be this year. Maybe next year, maybe towards the end of the season, the second half of the season, we see it. Because Stevie, why would you switch up now? See, you've opened up the floodgates, so now I'm ready to go. Why would you switch up now after you win a championship?
To go do it somewhere else in another class that he's always looked up to, the man at the Southern Nationals, seeing him do his burnouts. Look, he even models his burnouts after John. He's the only Pro Mod driver that does it like that. He'll tell you the man's itching. I guarantee he's itching to get some nitro out there.
Speculation world, we don't know. I'm not speaking the gospel other than that drag racing is the greatest sport and that if you don't like it, you have a loose screw. But I will say this. Now, if John does not come back, who's the closest person to take that throne? Stevie Fast Jackson, guaranteed. That throne will be handed down to the Stevie Fast Jackson.
Sure, of personality, of charisma. Yes, certainly.
Driving style. Those two, to me, have the most similar driving style. They are the same people in and out of the car. They're very, very, very contagious, just like Zizzo, like we had on, and Steve that we had on. Their personalities are contagious. And John and Steve, I would like to see them two race, even if John's in his car and Steve's in his Pro-Mod. I'd still like to see. It's like Michael Jordan versus Kobe.
Right.
I mean,
look, Stevie has offered to John to get into a pro mod. If I ever get to interview John, that's one of my questions. When will you get in a pro mod? Stevie's offered. Let's make it happen. The Belushi can make it happen. We need to make that happen. John in a pro mod.
I think it should.
Definitely.
I mean, we're making last year, only a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, you're talking about all these crazy things that you're going to do in 2021. So, I mean, it's just like talking about getting all these other guys into, funny cars and nitro cars. We just have to wait till it happens.
Yep.
I still want to see that bike.
Gotta wait. I want to get on the bike too. Gator Nationals, I want an answer from you. We're going to look at the entry list. But it's definitely 2021, this year right now, there is a funny car competitor that's going to be out there, and I think competing at a high level, and that is our next guest, Paul Lee, right after this break.
On the street, in the water, or at the track. If you drive it, we can fuel it.
Paul, how you doing tonight, man? Uh-oh. We can't hear you right now.
Uh-oh.
Work on that.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
There he is.
Hey, sorry about that. It hit the mute button. Us guys, Hey, I was enjoying your show and a lot of good stuff. I've been enjoying it. So good to be with you guys.
Well, thank you.
Got to ask the question right away, Paul. Got to ask the question.
What's that?
If you could have any snack company on any car, bring it back, what snack company would it be?
Snack company?
Yep.
Snack company, huh?
Hey,
I'm not a big snacker, but
hey, he's in the right place. He's in the kitchen, so food item, anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but what do I have here? Man, I tell you, that's a good question. Snacks.
We'll let you think about it. We'll let you think about it when we get Larry on here. We got a question for both of you guys. See which one you pick.
Sam, my mind is always on snacks, so that's not hard for me to answer. It varies throughout the day as well.
I'll tell you, I got it. Kind bars. That's it. That's me. Kind bars.
Kind bars.
Yeah, that's a healthy snack.
Oh, yes.
Look at his face.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
It's the first week of January, so we'll give him that one. He's still New Year's resolution, so give it about 2 weeks. Yeah.
They're already out the window. They're already out the window. I like what Brian says in the comments. He says Doritos. I think Doritos on a funny car would work out perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, M&M's.
Why not? Why not?
The nacho cheese burnout.
There you go. There you go.
First question in.
Yeah, Paul, let's take this fan question here from Joe Hollis. It says, "Hi, Paul. How many IHR races did you win in the past? How about getting a top fuel car and Krista driving it?" Well, I know y'all got plans working on that, but yeah, what's let me ask it this way. The past IHRA, and then also, what is it like working with, a member of drag racing royalty in the Greek family?
Oh, well, I mean, to answer the first question, in IHRA, I raced IHRA a lot back in the day, and I did win one Nitro Funny Car race at Milan Dragway in 2008, driving Paul Smith's car. Went to 6 finals in IHRA, but I only won the one race. We just had some bad luck, but we did get away with it in one race back in 2008. And as far as Krista goes, yeah, I mean, she joined our company, many years ago when she was still in college as an intern, and we brought her on board full time, and she's been a great addition to our McLeod and FTI team. She comes from, of course, she grew up in the sport, and it means a lot when someone so passionate about the sport joins our team. I mean, she has a lot of roles. She does creative development for McLeod and FTI, and she's also my Top Fuel Funny Car team manager. Our car is at Don Schumacher Racing. That's where we keep the car, and she oversees everything on a day-to-day basis. And so she has a lot on her plate, and she also now just recently got her Top Fuel license. So that was pretty exciting to be there for that.
Awesome. Are you planning on running a full schedule for 2021? Or are you guys going to run a partial schedule like you did before?
Well, I mean, so this year we ended up running a full schedule. Of course, there was only 11 races, but this year our plan is to run all the races. I mean, we feel we have a good top 5 car with Jim Overhofer as a crew chief. We have a great crew of guys that used to be full-time guys, even though we're only part-time. All the guys on my team were full-time guys at one point, and they serviced the car like a full-time team, and they did a great job this year, and we just want to continue that for 2021. You know, our goal is to go to all of them. That's our plan. And we want to compete. We think we have a top 5 car, and we have a good car and a lot of good parts and good personnel, and that's what it takes.
Definitely does. And that performance began showing toward the end of this abbreviated year in 2020. I mean, wasn't it St. Louis in the crazy drag race that was, even in qualifying, that y'all were able to pick up number 1? Wasn't that the case?
That was, and the St. Louis, that was a deal where we were. That was my first number 1 qualifier in Nitro Funny Car, so it was pretty exciting. If the driver did a little bit better in eliminations, we might have went further, but you know, hey, things happen.
Things happen.
But we have a good car, a good crew. I mean, a little luck on our side. We could have finished a couple steps higher, but we had some issues with some clutch stuff and some car issues in the middle of the year. But once we got it straightened out, this thing goes right down the track and fast.
So, Paul, elaborate for me. You mentioned that the car is kept over there at Don Schumacher Racing. So what type of partnership is that? How does that work out? Is that something y'all are, literally renting space, or is it even more technical than that? How's it working?
Okay, it's working out great. I mean, it's similar to what Bob Tasca has done. And what he does is, everything that I bought, I own everything. So I own my own team. I own the tractor trailer, all the car parts. But everything we bought from Don Schumacher Racing. So in essence, what we do is we have a DSR tune-up. So the second part of that is the technology. So we are part of that technology, even though we're considered a satellite team. We, like you said, we rent space in the shop, so we keep everything there. We're parked right next to Antron in the shop, and we get to share the technology with some of the other teams, most notably the Napa team. Our car is very similar to the Ron Tobler tuned Napa car. We have the same clutch setup, same parts, pretty much the same everything. And Ron Tobler and Jim Overhofer, our crew chief, they've been longtime friends, and they have a really, really good working relationship. So it's been a great deal for me and our team to be able to be associated with DSR and their technology and being there at the shop. I mean, if you need anything done, they have everything right there. All the resources are right there. If you need your car wrapped, they have a wrap shop. You use the wrap shop. Or if you need your chassis welded on, they have a chassis shop. And cylinder heads, if you need them fixed, everything's right there. It's really a great partnership, and I'm really happy to be part of it. Don and Mike Lewis have been, and all the people at DSR have been great with us. So we're like a satellite team. We own our own stuff, but we run out of their shop in Indianapolis. So it's been awesome.
So what is it like to have and see that technology firsthand for you guys? Say being at that shop versus being, at your shop or away from that, and then saying, hey, can you guys show us what you're trying and different things like that? What advantages do you think you gained from that?
Oh man, I could talk a half an hour on that easily, because Donnie Bender is the assistant crew chief, and he works there on a day-to-day basis full time. And he works on the car, and some of the crew chiefs come in before the race. I mean, the crew guys come in before the race and work on the car and get it prepared for the following race. But the key is that we work with everybody on a day-to-day basis. So, if Donnie has a question, all he has to do is walk next door to the pit next door and, talk to the crew guys there, and they come over and see how we're doing things. And so the biggest benefit is being there on a day-to-day basis and just being part of the organization.
So, Paul, what was it like to go through the ordeal that you went through with your medical episode, the heart attack, and the serious one that you had? and the journey to get back to drag racing and do what you're doing, because I'm sure that moment, what you went through to the bettering of performance and eventually, hopefully, holding up a Wally one day, that's all part of the dream and the goal after having something like that happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's been my goal, and my dream since I was 12 years old. It's all I've ever wanted to do is drive a nitro funny car. The first time I saw Jungle Jim Lieberman on as a kid at Atco Dragway, this is all I've ever wanted to do. And then when I had my Widowmaker heart attack 4 years ago now, of course, I was lucky to be alive. I was just happy to be alive. Forget about drag racing. And but after about a year and a half of rehabilitation, and the doctor even giving me the hint that, hey, your rehab's going pretty well. I said, if you keep this up, there may be a chance that you could do this racing thing that you like to do. And of course, once I heard that made me work twice as hard. And it's been a long journey, but that's okay. I'm here, as healthy as I can be, considering I have permanent heart damage, and I have to, keep an eye on that all the time. And that's okay. But, just to be able to be out there racing again with my friends and my family and all the competitors, this is my life. This is what I've always wanted to do my whole life. And to be able to be back out there, I mean, I can't even describe the feeling to be able to drive the car again and be competitive and be out there with everyone and just being at the racetrack. I mean, that's my happy place, at the racetrack, like everyone else in drag racing. That's where I love to be. I love being at the track, and to be able to race competitively is, it's like, wow, it's like, it's a dream come true. And I still work hard every day. I mean, right after we're done here, I'm going to go up in the gym and do my exercise, because I know that to keep my heart healthy, I have to keep the exercise up, like my doctors have told me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be able to race and be competitive.
And you just brought that up, and that's what I was going to ask is, after all this, now knowing what it takes to keep you healthy, have you, extended your workout routines? Have you tried some new things to, just keep you prepared even off the off season? A lot of us may take a couple of weeks off, gain a couple of LBs, but do you stay consistent and, but do you still eat all the good Christmas and holiday food too, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, I've been pretty healthy eater my whole life anyway. I've been an athlete my whole life in other sports, and I was a wrestler. I was in the martial arts when I was younger, so I've always been an athlete. So that part is basically, that's my lifestyle. It's not something that I have to push myself or to do. I mean, this is my lifestyle. So working out in the gym has been, that's something, both the cardio exercises and the weight training has been part of my life forever. And that doesn't change. So that's my life 12 months of the year, 365 days. I mean, I don't work out every single day, but, I'd say 4 or 5 times a week, I'm working out and doing what I need to do. And like I said, I enjoy it. So it's part of my lifestyle, and I enjoy it.
Well, Paul, look, it's great having you on. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to bring on our next guest, Larry Dixon Jr. So please, Paul, feel free to hang with us right after this word from Jerry Bickle Race Cars.
Yeah.
In the race for quality, there is no finish line. Jerry Bickle Race Cars is a one-stop chassis shop for drag racing performance parts and race components. For over 50 years, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been an essential part of racers' plans for building world champion race cars. Our parts department is stocked with every part a racer might need. Log on to jerrybickle.com for more information. We build anything with doors. jerrybickle.com.
Larry!
Yo.
What's going on, everybody? All right.
How we doing?
Paul, I told you. We're doing good. Paul, I told you we had another question for you. So here it goes. If you have to pick a two, honey buns or cinnamon rolls, which ones are better?
Cinnamon rolls, all the way. Cinnamon rolls.
Larry?
Oh, as soon as you said cinnamon rolls, I thought of Cinnabon. Like,
yeah,
go wrong,
right? Okay. See, what about you, Lee? I know we're going to argue about this one, Lee. So what do you think?
I don't think so, or at least I'm siding with the drivers, so it doesn't matter how you're going to side. I have to go cinnamon roll. Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm wearing sunglasses today. We can finally agree on something.
Finally. It's rare, but it's happened today. It's happened today. Larry, look, it is a honor to have you on. I didn't want to bother you at the U.S. National. Saw you there enjoying that show. Look, I got to ask, man, because I've been dying to ask. Your rookie year in Top Fuel, you have a terrible practice crash in Bakersfield. Just absolutely horrendous. I've got to ask, you look back, are you like, man, I was brave, or were you just that young and dumb? What was going on, man? That was crazy to go from that and then to Pomona. And then Pomona was wild too.
Yeah, the run right before the crash, and I didn't have that many runs under my belt. I mean, I got licensed, didn't do anything for a year, and then all of a sudden it's preseason testing. We're gonna go to Pomona. So we go to Bakersfield. We make our first full pass. It runs underneath the national record, so it's like, yeah, everything's awesome. So Wes Cerny, our crew chief, he puts another blower on it, like hoping the car's gonna run even quicker than that. Long story short, blew a rear tire, took the wing off the car, spun me around, hit both guardrails. I'm on fire. And the drive home, like, I was literally thinking, it's like, if you do something long enough, you're going to crash. But I was hoping that I'd get some runs under my belt before it actually happened, and it didn't. I got it out of the way. So it's just, that I've had obviously some spectacular crashes, but I'm here talking to you. My wife and kids still recognize me, so it's all the safety equipment's working, and there's a constant involvement with that. So it's just our bad day at the office is a little worse than most people when it goes bad.
And since we started with the worst, I might as well get my question about crashes out of the way. After your crash in 2015 in Gainesville, seeing what happened to Leah, this past season, did that strike a nerve? Because it was a similar crash for both of you guys, the big wreck. So kind of, I guess, when you saw that, what did you think?
Well, there's only been 5 of them, or 6 of them now. I've done it twice. Phil Lamatina down in Australia's done it twice. Tony Schumacher did it once, and then Leah now. And I'm thinking, we've been doing this for 20 years, and we still haven't, fixed it so the cars won't break in half. That was actually the first thought that went through my mind. Going through it once sucks. To do it twice, I would like that part of our sport to move on from it. So the NHRA, SFI, all the chassis builders, the teams that build their own chassis, everybody's grouping together. I actually got a meeting with NHRA at the Las Vegas event. Regardless of my reputation, I'm still, we're still cordial and we still talk. And I thought it was a very productive meeting, and I'm hoping that something good comes out of it to where we can put that part of drag racing behind us.
For sure. Well, Paul, look, we've got Larry on. Let me ask you, is there any moment from Larry's career that stands out in your mind as a fan of drag racing and drag racer yourself?
Oh, yeah, 100%. First, Larry and I, in the last couple of years, have become friends, and I just wanted to really say, hey, congratulations on your Hall of Fame. Well-deserved, my friend. Well-deserved. But, yes, I have a great memory, actually. 2004, I won Top Alcohol Funny Car at Englishtown at the Summer Nationals, and Larry won in Top Fuel. And I actually have a picture of this. Back then in 2004 at Englishtown, the winner's circles were right next to each other, the professional winner's circle was right next to the Sportsman winner's circle. So while Larry was getting his pictures taken in the professional winner's circle in the Miller car, we were right next door getting our picture taken in the Top Alcohol Funny Car winner's circle. And the snake came over, wandered over to say hi, and he ended up getting in our winner's circle picture. So I have my picture from the 2004 Summer Nationals win has the snake in it, believe it or not. So Larry won that race the same time I did. So that's my memory of Larry.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that racetrack. I hate that we're not going there anymore. I mean, it was just going out on the West Coast, and when I was a kid back in the 70s, there's only a half a dozen national events. But Englishtown was obviously one, and there was always, records being broken. All the heroes were there running, and gosh, I wanted to go to that race. And when I finally got to go there with my dad one year, in between summer, I was in junior high school. I mean, they literally didn't allow anyone under 14 in the pit area, and I had to lie just to sneak into the area. Getting on the starting line was way out of the question. But New Jersey's got their own rules on things, and I understood it. But just going there, and then the big wall, it's such a part of drag racing history, and the fact that we don't go there and run anymore. I hate it, but we can't go run Orange County and some of these other places that we used to go. So I understand it. I'm just feel very fortunate to have raced there and lucky enough to grab a couple winners there. So it's definitely one of the highlight places of my career is being able to have raced and won there.
Yeah, it's definitely sad that, I have nothing against drifting. I love other forms of motorsports, but to see that famed drag strip be deduced to a drift pad, it gets you right here. It definitely does. So, I mean, maybe one day, hopefully, someone will have some wisdom and turn that thing around. But at least we do have great facilities ahead of us. Sam, what you got?
Another question for and everybody wants to know, Larry, the two-seater dragster. Everybody wants to know about that. Everyone wants to talk about that. It kind of I think it's right there in the background. So just, there's questions coming in about us. Tell us a little bit more about it, what the future plans for it, what's going on with it.
Well, you could have a power day talking about the two-seater and all the different subjects about it, its concept, building it, why we built it, and then all the trouble I had once it was built, and now that we're out there running it, it's it's literally doing everything that I hope it would do. When I presented this idea to the folks Glendora when it was just a sheet of paper, and they were excited about it at that time, and then so I kind of took their recommendations and ran with it, and got it all done. And a meeting after the fact that one of the guys, and I won't call him out, he said, well, we didn't think you'd actually build it. And I'm like, are you serious? But you can't unbuild it. I mean, it's the genie's out of the bottle at this point. So I run the car on NHRA tracks. There's not a lot of racetracks that are set up in NHRA sanction for a top fuel car. And normally if it's like you build a facility and you set it up for fuel cars, you're going to be with the sanctioning body that runs fuel cars. So, but there are a few places that we do get to run. I mean, I've gone to West Palm with it, Memphis, Martin's literally just right up the road from us. So try to go to those places and run the car. But we only go to the half mile, and it's literally the drive train out of our regular top fuel car goes right into the two-seater, and we run it. I mean, it's a little bit slower because of the weight and stuff, but and we run 8th mile, so I mean it'll run 9 flat 60 foot, and it'll run low 3-second, 320, 330 type ETs, somewhere in the 250-ish mile an hour range. And it's a ball. I mean, like, the part that I dig with it is, we're only on the track for a few seconds, so there isn't a lot of time to where you would need radio communication, but you go through the lights, you hit the chutes, and you're grabbing the brake, and it's quiet, but you're still coasting before you get to the turnoff. And listening to them talk in the back seat, I've had grown men squeal like little girls, like at a boy band concert, that they're just so excited, with the G-forces and how, you're going 0 to 250 mile an hour in 3 seconds. So to share that with somebody and let them feel what, the Antron Browns and the John Forces and the Paul Lees and everybody gets to feel week in, week out. I mean, that's going to be the run of their lifetime. I mean, when they go to their holiday parties, and like that story of that run is going to trump everybody else for that night. So, and again, to be involved in that and sharing that, it's like winning a national event. It really is for me. I dig it. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it.
So is that the new way we should just bring new sponsors in? Say, hey, you know what? Got a ride for you. Call you up. Get the new sponsors in. So there you go. That's how we do it, Lee.
Well, like the concept with the car, on a piece of paper, I mean, it was about, you'll make a run down the track, and I've done it for 20 years or whatever like that, and ask you, they put the mic in front of you and like ask you, how the run was, and you make thousands of runs. They're great and they're exciting, but you've done it thousands of times. And I'm like, gosh, how about if you took, if you were at an event and you had some VIP or some celebrity or something like that, and you took them down the racetrack and you pulled around the turnout and you shoved the camera right in their face, like, what kind of soundbite is that going to be? I mean, they're going to be scared to death. They're going to be like so animated and so excited. And it's like, let those people like market the sport. I mean, we have such a great sport, and it's just getting it to the masses and letting more people know about it. And now that's really the idea behind the car was wanting to share in that. And then it could snowball into other things, where you had vendors, the oil and different companies, spark plugs and such, run contests and fan giveaways and like have them have their shot on the same racetrack as a John Force or, all the big show guys doing it. And it was just, it literally was all about marketing and trying to promote our sport. It's like, I'm sold on it. Paul Lee sold on it. It's, it's selling it to more masses to try and get, the Fortune 500 companies and, corporate America and all of them, getting them, back excited about our sport. And if you're not trying new ways and the old ways ain't working, we got to just try new things. We got to mix it up. Got to do things. There's a lot of deliverables, easy for me to say, with our sport, and it's just trying to get them to the right people.
We began the show, me and Sam, talking about what consumer products we'd like to see in the sport, why they are not in the sport, and you've got a great vehicle to bring new people to the sport and experience in a way they never have. I really wish, when I heard about what you were doing years ago, that the NHRA was going to use it like IndyCar uses the two-seater with Mario Andretti. They get a celebrity and they get a well-known person or a fan that won a contest, and they're out there on the pace laps. I really think it should be Larry Dixon firing off the first shot or in between Top Fuel and Funny Car with that famed person at Pomona. Like, get some movie star. We've talked about that on this channel before, that why not use all the leverage afforded to drag racing that you can to grow the sport?
No question about it. I think a great example was Papa John's. You know, they brought a helicopter and let them come to an event, and how excited he was. Like, you know, like TV is great, but it really doesn't do our sport justice, you know, with all the you know, the sights and the smells and, you know, the vibration and everything that goes on with the cars running. People have no idea. And so it's trying to get that message out there to people. And so, you know, the more companies involved, and I was listening to you guys talking, and it's tough to get our sport because of the cost of doing it. I mean, you know, Paul's out there running his car all the time, and he can tell you how expensive it is. And you know, and it says McLeod on his car, but he's got Global, and he's got so many other companies involved in it to run it because it is so expensive. And when you try and run it like a business, and it costs X amount of money, and you can offer an X amount of return, you know, whether it's with attendance or with TV ratings and stuff, and then there's an X amount of value to what you have to deliver, and those numbers don't match up, then it makes it challenging for the teams and the companies to get involved, because they still they run their company like a business, and you really need to run the racing operations like a business as well.
Yeah, I always thought that the two-seater, the first time when I heard about the two-seater, I said, you know, that's exactly, you know, what you said. I mean, this is something that could be used like Mario Andretti does at the Indy 500. You know, we should be out there. This is an underutilized asset. It's a great asset to have in our sport. And you got to thank Larry for building it. I mean, to have that dream, I mean, it's great. I really wish that the powers that be would utilize this a lot better. I mean, we really need to use this. But what Larry's bought to the sport, I mean, we have a tool that could bring people to the sport, and I just wish we would utilize that asset that Larry has.
Definitely. Well,
Hey,
Paul,
Paul,
look, I got to ask you, how challenging would it be to have a two-seat funny car?
Oh man, I have no. Larry could answer that better than me. I mean, you know, I have no idea. I mean,
I've had enough trouble. No.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be. I mean, anything could be possible, right? I mean, it would be a blast. I mean, what would you do, Larry? Side by side on a funny car?
Well, the problem is probably. Well, the problem is probably you sit between the tires, and there ain't exactly a lot of room. But while you were talking right there, what I was thinking, you know what might be something to throw out there? How about a rumble seat in a funny car? Stick them out on the deck, right?
Yeah. That's okay. I get it.
And send them down the track.
There you go.
A rumble seat. Then we could do it.
if you guys right now could pick your favorite athlete or whatever, whoever it may be, to take a ride behind you in that dragster, Paul, I'm going to start with you. Who would you pick as like your number one choice to say, I can pick anyone I want to ride in that with me? And then Larry, also the same question for you.
Did you say athlete?
Anybody, so any superstar, famous person, anyone that you would like to give that ride to, just to show them what it's all about.
Warren Johnson. Warren Johnson says a blind man could drive a funny car. I'd let him drive my car. He could just go ahead and drive. I want to see him. Woo. You know, I mean, I've known Warren a long time. He's a good guy, but you know, he said a long time ago a blind man could drive a funny car. So I just want to see him get in there and make a hit at the gas and see what his face looks like. I want a GoPro camera on his face.
There you go, Lee. I mean, not Lee. Well, Larry. Who would yours be, Larry?
I would say right now, and this would be I'd be taking advantage of this situation that you set me in, so I'm going to say it. I'd like to give Marcus Lemonis a ride in the back seat of that car. That would be awesome. But my dream person to go for a ride, I'd like to give Daryl Gwynn a ride in that car. That's
Yes.
what I'd really like to do.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great.
That's a good one. Lee, who would you put? Or I don't know if anyone would trust you driving that car.
Yeah, I would love to see what Larry just mentioned with Daryl Gwynn. I'm a little sentimental for me with you asking me that, Sam. It would be my dad. My dad was involved in the sport in the mid-'60s, late '60s with Gene Cromer and the Moonlighter and that A-Gas Willis and the funny car. I'd love to give my dad at 76 years old another chance down the drag strip, because it's funny, he only raced the 55 gasser, and he raced the Willis once, and the only reason he had to race it is because Gene entered the funny car and the Willis in the same race, and they both got to the semifinals, and Gene needed to win in the funny car. My dad gets out there in the Willis, and they're doing this back and forth down the drag strip because my dad actually didn't fire off down the drag strip to get the round win for Gene. So yeah, some hilarity back in the old match racing days. But yeah, it'd be my dad, Sam. What about you, man? Who gets in the ride with Larry?
Ooh, I don't. Right, you know what? Right now, my 3-year-old son is like, he loves drag racing. I've been showing him videos and different things like that, and he's all about it. He sees the Mustang in parts in the garage. So right now, it would have to be that, or I can honestly say the biggest idol of mine, if we're going to go famous person, would have to be Tony Gwynn. Growing up, I was a huge baseball player. So for me, Tony Gwynn was, being a California kid, it would have to be Tony Gwynn. Put me on the spot there.
I did. That's my job, man. Put people on the spot. Larry, very quickly on the 2-seater deal, what are the parameters? Like, what does it cost? What are the age limits? What are, what are the requirements that you send out? Say, hey, you've got to meet this criteria to be able to hop in this car.
Well, the punchline is $9,995 for a ride. That's the punchline with it. Some people will think it's a lot. Probably people like Paul Lee, and I even had Don Schumacher tell me this. He said, "I don't know how you can do it for so cheap," and I don't know how I can do it so cheap either, because when I wrote out the business plan for it, so it would at least try and break even, it was $14,000 a run. And I thought that was too much money. So I started crossing off things that we could get away with, including paying me to do it and just get it down to where we could operate this and give a ride for under $10,000. The parameters are, it's your son's going to have to wait a little while, like 15 years before he can go for a ride, unless dad can hook him up with some fake ID or something. But you got to be 18 and over, and your maximums as far as height and weight is 6'6", 275 pounds. And obviously there's waivers involved and releases and things like that, but it's pretty clean and cut and dry. I got a lot of help with when you started talking about the IndyCar experience with Mario Andretti. I got with folks over there, and they came out to the shop, and before we went in business with this, they helped me a lot with the insurance and the waivers and leases and all that stuff that, they've been in business for over 20 years and they haven't had any issues, and, why try and reinvent the wheel they've already invented. So went down that road, and they helped me out a lot. Even got a ride around the racetrack with Mario. I owe him a ride, and so we're still trying to sort that out, because I think that would be a blast to be able to return the favor, giving Mario Andretti a ride in a car. So, but that's the gist of it.
All right, there it is. Start saving the money, Sam. Me too.
I'm just going to put that on the list, and hopefully Santa next year is like, Sam, here you go.
Hey, maybe we can get Bobby to pay for it.
Credit cards accepted.
If I get it right here, we can get Bob. We can work a deal. 2 rides for me and you for one price, Competition Plus, and we do a video on it.
I don't think that's enough for Larry. I think he's got to have just a little bit more. He's cutting
I
a good
saw
deal.
Larry's face change a little bit. He didn't like my 2021 business plan there.
I was like, okay, so well, if it'll fit in, we'll figure it out.
Hey, there we go. Lee, we're adding to the list for 2021 right there.
I know. We've gotten well beyond tricycles, though. That's a good thing. Well beyond tricycles on this show. Definitely. So, Larry, we haven't got to it. Paul already congratulated you. And again, congratulations. You showed it on social media. You've received that letter that you're going to be inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. Now, a lot of people may not be familiar with that one. That's the one there in Daytona, Florida. And I want to name off a few names. So you're going to be inducted into a hall that includes names such as Mario Andretti, Craig Breedlove, Ricky Carmichael. Also, to the drag racers, Bob Glidden, Don Garlitz, Don Perdome, Dale Armstrong. Amelia Earhart, for her air racing, is even in this particular Motorsports Hall of Fame. Can you sum up the acceptance speech on CompetitionPlus.com Power Hour at the moment and your thoughts and being honored with such an honor?
It's I was really taken aback, and especially just kind of staring at the letter, and that's why I took a picture of it and posted it, because everything that it said in it, and there's 200 people that vote on this, and it just I didn't to be honest with you, I never even thought. I'm not thinking Hall of Fame yet, because I'm still like, I think I'm still working. But like Bartlett's Hall of Fame, like you think about that, because it's like, if you're out there and you do good and, over a period of time, there's a good chance that you can get in there. And this kind of really caught me way out in left field. And I was doing an interview the other day, and you got to come up with a speech, and it's like I can't even come up with a sentence about it, because it's wow, like just so, like I'm just very flattered and very honored to be mentioned. And it doesn't even seem real from that standpoint. It means a lot, and it's a very big deal. And again, I feel very honored. I really do. I don't have much more about it than that right now. Like, I really don't. It's just feel very blessed to get to do all the things that made them think of me from that standpoint. The different race cars with different sponsors and team owners and crew chiefs and crew. Everybody, like. When I would win events, I've always been a little weird about me holding the trophy and doing the whole like shot with it, because it's like I didn't do it. Like, it wasn't just me, and like I literally, you're gonna see what, like, you can pull them out. There's group shots in the winner's circle, and I'm taking the trophy and I'm setting it on the roll cage, and it's like it's our teams, and for the whole team to share it, because we all won it, not just me. So it's and I feel very blessed to have been a part of all of those teams, to be able to win those events and such, and have that kind of performance where you get recognized, that, and then with everything that's gone on with this car behind me here, it's again, it's a big deal. It really is. It means a lot, and I'm very appreciative that they thought of me like that.
Well, it's well deserved, Larry. You have multiple world championships, and you've won what, 60, 70 Wallies? I mean, come on, you deserve every bit of it. I know it's a team sport, like you said, but hey, man, you all made it happen, all your teams, but with multiple world championships, and I don't know how many you have. You have close to 70 Wallies, right? If not more than that. So it's well deserved, buddy. Well deserved.
And something that I heard you say
you're
there,
gonna put
Larry.
me on the spot. I'm gonna say a lot less than Tony Schumacher.
Something I heard you say there, and it speaks volume of yourself there, Larry, is you said it's a team. You didn't do it for you. The trophy is for the team. Winning that is for the team. And I think that's another thing that, is another, stepping stone for you. And it was easy for people to pick you out to say, you know what, he's deserving of this. It's because you're putting everyone else before yourself. You're putting your team before you. And when you look over everyone, that Lee had mentioned and the great athletes that we have and mentors and people like that, that's what they all say. First, they're a great athlete. Yes. But they were a mentor. They were a coach. They put everyone else before themselves. And that's even what you're doing with, the two-seater car is you're giving everyone else a chance to experience the things that you guys love, the opportunity that you were giving. So from myself and my small companies and everything and any other media person, I'm just going to say this, that we're thankful for the example that you showed for everyone else. So again, congratulations to receiving that letter and being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. It's a big deal, and I just feel very, very honored for sure by it.
Well, with all the Hall of Fame discussion, let me ask this to Paul and to you, Larry, and we'll let Paul chime in first. So, as mentioned, Larry, you're going to be inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. That's down there in Daytona, Florida. Very prestigious. A lot of folks don't realize that motorsports and Daytona goes far deeper than NASCAR. It goes back to the land speed record days when people would come to the Daytona Beach from all over the world to attempt to break the land speed record, even before the days of Bonneville. Do you think drag racing needs a centralized hall, not just the state-to-state halls, but does there need to be drag racing's version of Canton? Paul, what do you think?
Well, I think we have that with Don Garlitz's museum, right? I mean, that's a drag racing only museum, and of course the American the Motorsports Hall of Fame that Larry's being inducted to is all of motorsports, which is pretty prestigious in itself. So, I mean, between I think, in my opinion, Don Garlitz's museum is drag racing, museum Hall of Fame for us, and I mean that's okay with me. I mean, I've been there many times and enjoy walking around there, and the people that get in there are certainly deserving of that kind of recognition. They're all my heroes that I grew up watching. So it's fine with me. I like the Don Garlitz's Museum of Drag Racing and their Hall of Fame.
I like that answer. Good answer. Larry, what say you, man?
Yeah, I would agree 100% with Paul. I think that the fact that this sounds like this is a slam, and it's not. But if it was an NHRA Hall of Fame, then they're only going to recognize people from that have raced in NHRA, and for the sport of drag racing, I don't know that that's fair because it encompasses so much, from early days and up, and even right now, the things that are going on. not necessarily at an NHRA track. I mean, you guys chimed in about the street outlaws, but the guys, when they do those no prep king races and they are on racetracks and some of the, I mean, there's guys that are creating drag racing fans, from those shows, and there's going to be up and coming people from watching that. So it's going to be such a thing that, that will help carry the sport of drag racing on, for generations. So I like that it's at Don Garlitz's, and because it takes care of the sport of drag racing and not just necessarily one area of it.
Yeah, the museum down there is great. I've got to get back there. I went there as a little kid, got my Swamp Rat little stuffed doll, still got that even to this day. I've got to get back down there again. Thankfully, working at strutmasters.com, I've got the auctioned off toolbox right here behind me from the Don Garlitz Museum. It pays to have a place that work at a place that loves drag racing, so it works out. It definitely does.
For both of you, Larry, you just mentioned it, but would either one of you guys ever go out and do any of those no prep events? I mean, would you ever take a crack at it, or is that something that you would just rather watch than take a part of it?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm too old to start over. It's been a lifetime of getting to the point. Like I said earlier, all I've ever wanted to do is drive a Top Fuel funny car since I was, 12, 13 years old, and I'm doing it, and I don't have any desire. I mean, I love Top Fuel funny cars. I love Top Fuel dragsters. I'm also licensed in Top Fuel dragster. I did a couple races back in the IHRA days in the Lagana family car. And I love the nitro classes. Blown nitro is what I like. I mean, to each his own. I love all of drag racing. I appreciate all of drag racing. But for me personally, I like nitro and a blower.
Fair enough. Larry, would you give it a crack?
I have a thing for the Pro Mod cars, and those cars that they run at those no prep king races. I mean, they might as well be Pro Mod cars, some of them, and they're putting on an event. They pay $50,000 to win, and it looks like it could be fun, and who wouldn't like to have fun to drag races?
There we go.
All right,
we got two more.
We got to figure out
Melanie,
how to get Larry in a no prep situation.
Here it goes. Melanie and Justin, you remember they wanted to switch.
That's right.
So
maybe we can get Melanie to get in the 2-seater and Larry can get in Melanie Salemi's Pro Mod. Maybe we can work that out.
It's working. Hey, you know what? I'm just going to start writing down all these ideas so we can keep track of them.
Yeah.
And then once we cross the lines, and we can make like a puzzle, and then I got it. Here, this is how it's going to do. Whoever figures out the puzzle to who wants to drive in which, they'll win a prize. I don't know.
Yeah, some prize. Some
type of prize. Yep. We'll get a goodie bag of T-shirts.
You have to get Bobby Bennett off of his wallet and you get some prizes out there.
Yeah. You get some prize. We'll send them Competition Plus apparel along with used shades from Monday Morning Racer. That's what we'll do.
Yep. There you go.
We lost Larry. We've been having a delay the whole night with Larry, and we just lost him. Maybe he'll come back in and we can have
it's that California air. We're talking racing and, fossil fuels and different things like that. It happened last week when I was on too.
But he's in Indiana.
That's right. He's up there. I mean,
I'm in California.
Y'all reverse. Paul's in California.
Hey,
he might have 6 inches of snow in his front yard. I don't know.
He could. He very well could.
It looks like we've gotten pretty lucky.
We might have Larry coming back. So we might have him coming back. We'll give it just a few moments. Let's try. I think we do got Larry back.
All right.
He's back.
Larry's back.
Awesome. So Guys, we do need to close down the Competition Plus Power Hour. So, Paul, I'm going to ask you one last question from myself. When you look at 2021, Don Schumacher team members have gone to other teams. John Force Racing members have gone to other teams. It looks like the competition in Funny Car is going to be the craziest year in a long time. Do you think that's going to be the case, and that it's going to be a savage fest out there in the Nitro ranks in Funny Car in 2021?
I certainly believe that's the case. I mean, it's going to be so competitive in 2021. You've had, you've had the Make-A-Wish team go over to Cruz's car. They're going to be very competitive. I'm sure John and Robert are going to come back. They're going to throw them in the mix. Yeah, it's you better be ready for 2021. I think it's going to be the most competitive year in Funny Car that it's ever been this year. It's going to be a dogfight, and as far as our team goes, we have all of our team back, and we're going to be ready to go. I'm pretty excited to show up in Gainesville.
Sam, awesome. You got anything for Paul?
I do, Paul. If you had the choice, and this is a weird superstition question for myself, if you have the choice to go the first pair down the track, the middle pair, or the end of the class, what would you prefer?
Easy question. First pair. First pair all the time.
Wow. Get it out of the way.
I like first pair. Like, let's get it on, man. Let's go race. It's time to race. No messing around. Let's go get it on. That's my attitude.
Hey, hats off to you. There's no way I want to be the first pair down. I don't want to be the first pair down, and I don't want to be the last pair, because then you're just sitting there forever. But just somewhere in the middle is just like, okay, let's,
Well, you got to remember, in Funny Car, first pair is actually ninth pair, because you have eight pairs of Top Fuel dragsters run before we run. So, in essence, you're right in the middle, right? So, we're the first. I like to be the first pair of Funny Cars, but in essence, you're ninth pair of cars on race day.
Now, see, that makes sense.
It's all in the way you look at it. It's all in the way you look at it.
I like that. Get it out of the way. We're the first pair of Funny Cars. I like that. Well, Paul, look.
But and I was going to say, the other thing that gives advantage you get being an early pair like that, or first pair, is that you've got that many more minutes to service the car between rounds. That could add up to an extra half an hour or 40 minutes, from the first pair to the eighth pair. Could be a long time, and to have that extra time in the pits is that would be huge. I would want that much more time for sure.
It's all in how you look at it. See?
There you go.
Someday, Lee, when you and I are, the Top Fuel car, we're going to remember this.
When you're riding Larry Dixon's car, you should remember you want to be first pair.
Right. I definitely want to be first before Sam. I know that much. So yes, definitely.
Hey, we'll flip a coin and play rock, paper, scissors for it.
All right, we can do that. I'll win both. Thank you very much. Paul, look, it's been great to have you on tonight here on Competition Plus Power Hour. We're going to let you go, man. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys. It's great to see everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Larry, I've got one last question for you, and it does involve this being inducted into a Hall of Fame. Is the bust, the Braun bust, however the picture is going to look at this particular Hall of Fame, is it going to be a long-haired or short-haired version of Larry Dixon? What are you going to prefer, man?
Am I going into the Hockey Hall of Fame or the Motorsports Hall of Fame? No, it's I remember it's funny because I spent quite a long time with long hair, and then I went through a Dale Carnegie course, as crazy as that sounds, for public speaking and such, and I came out of that and it was just a lot of things changed. I went driving. I bought a Harley and cut my hair off, and it just kind of been running like that ever since. So no, it'll definitely be short hair. I thought, you know what I thought you were going to ask is, would you go into the Hall of Fame in Miller or in Alanabi? That's what I thought you were going to ask, and I didn't have to think of an answer for it. So thank you for that.
It looks like the fans want the mullet back, though, according to the comments. So I'm in agreeing with that. We talked about that last week. I think it was last week. The mullets are in. So
yeah, they're coming back. They're coming back.
Beards and mullets are the in style. So start as you finish.
Funny, not funny. I can remember we were doing a display up in Detroit, and Kiss happened to be in town, so we got tickets to go see Kiss. They were playing at Pine, which is north of Pine, and so there, I saw more mullets than I think I ever saw when I was hanging out on the Sunset Strip. I mean, it was incredible. Like, it was just such an array of them. I felt so out of place with my short hair. But it was a blast. It was fun while I had it. And now I don't know, I'm probably too old now. I don't know that it'd even grow back. So this is it. This is what we got.
This is what you got. Well, Larry, look, thank you for being on the Competition Plus Power Hour. It's been an honor for me as a drag racing fan, watching you race as a kid and now having some time with you on air. Sorry if we ever felt like we might have cut you off. There's been a delay with you the whole evening, so we were kind of waiting at times. But, man, thank you for being on the Power Hour. We appreciate it, and congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Congratulations, and hope to see that two-seater very soon.
No, thank you. I like your line of thinking. Really appreciate you guys having talking about the Hall of Fame and everything, talking about the two-seater and just kind of free feeling more or less. So I really appreciate it, and I had a lot of fun. And anytime I can come back, I'm ready. I enjoyed it. So thank you.
Thank you, Larry. We appreciate it. We're going to drop you out. Take care, man. Well, Sam, as we drop Larry out, I know this much. I want to see him back in a one-seater in competition somewhere. I'm looking forward to that. I hope that does happen. It would be great to see him return and have another Tony Schumacher, Larry Dixon matchup.
So maybe, what you were talking about at the beginning of the show, the rookie career, could this be his comeback? I mean, can we count one of those as a comeback rookie, season?
Comeback. I like that.
So,
I like that.
Who knows? He said he's in good standings with NHRA, so I mean, you never know. There's some cards out there. You never know. There's and to what's been going on the show with you and I, we find out about a week or two later, oh yeah, that was planned. This may happen. There'll be a leak article that, yeah, Larry Dixon says he may come back for half the season next year. So who knows? I mean, that's just the way it's been on the Power Hour. I mean,
yeah, it does seem to be that case. If you come on the Power Hour, then all of a sudden there's a big change. So there's no telling what's going to happen. I mean, before long, we're going to hear that Paul Lee is going to Toyota. Oh, no, I didn't say that. I'm sorry. No, nothing like that's happening. He's got some good things going on there at Don Schumacher Racing. That's pretty cool. Didn't know that bit of information. I'm probably going to cause Krista. I'm going to cause Krista a lot of extra work now after that statement, possibly.
No, and
Sam,
and speaking. What's up, buddy? Look, you got something. You say, what's up?
We got to be done.
We do? Boss man's kicking us off already?
It's time to go.
Well, hey, Lee, what do you got? You got a show or something, some Between the Slicks or some show like that? Tell us about it.
It's a little show about drag racing called Between the Slicks. And this Thursday, 8 p.m., I will have Jay Warren on. He's known as the NC Pro Modder. He covers North Carolina Pro Mod racing, PDRA, local big dog stuff at Piedmont Dragway, things of that nature. Does live feeds, interview the drivers, so I'll be talking with him. And I will have the B-Gas champion on, more than likely, from the Southeast Gassers Association on Between the Slicks, 8 p.m., Thursday night. Sam, man, close us down. Let us know who you got.
Oh, my show, here in Minot, North Dakota, we talk to some of our IMCA circle track racers, and we talk drag racing. This week is going to be our first episode of the 2021 race season, so we're just going to start talking about that. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you want to tune in to my show, that is Mad Bro Motorsports Outlaw Performance ENT in the Groove Podcast on all your social media platforms. And on podcast form, you can check out my co-host, Lee, the Monday Morning Racer. And you can check out this podcast on all your major platforms. And that is Power Hour, CP, the Competition Plus Power Hour. And you can email us if you have any questions for our upcoming shows at powerhourcp@gmail.com. This has been another episode and the first of 2021, Competition Plus Power Hour. And we will see you next Tuesday. Keep preaching that gospel of drag racing. Until next time, drag racing fans.